Welcome, I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on Betwist. It's a game. You find words, and we're trying to put it on an infinite space to simulate wrapping around. We've done well. We're working on scrolling, though. We have some glitches in there, and I'm pretty sure we can get through that today. So I have an approach in mind, and at least from my sleepless night last night, I think this will do it. We'll find out. I thought I was on track yesterday too. So my notion is we'll have this constraint. As you scroll, you're going to keep the dot inside the core view. So the green block there in the middle is the main view, and we surrounded it with repetitions so that you could scroll and not run out of room. Okay. And so I think if we keep the viewport, that black square, and the dot, the center of that, always over the green, then we'll be okay. So this clearly is okay because it's smack in the middle. It could be over in a corner and you'd see some of the surrounding area, which is fine. That's what it's there for. And so that's okay. You can move it over to some other part. That's okay. But if the center is in yellow, then we know we're in trouble, because what's going to stop us from going down out completely off screen? You're right out there. And we saw that where you could drag to the end of the border in some cases, and it might show up back later, but you saw that there was a border, so it breaks the illusion. Okay, so this is not okay. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to translate. We're going to move the dot to the corresponding position in the green zone. And I think that's going to do it. All right, I think that's the right constraint for things. So how's that going to happen? Well, my theory is we need to work on, we need to hold the range for the offset from scrolling to be between minus half of the viewport size, width or height, to plus half the size. And if it's too small, add size to it. If it's too big, subtract it. And I think with that, it'll work. Now, I think this also works if the viewport is smaller than the cell. We don't have that in our situation now, but we can imagine a bigger, let's say we made a 10 by 10 grid. Well, that's not going to fit, at 50 pixels a square. It's not going to fit on our typical phone, maybe the new phones, but not mine anyway. And so we'll have a case where the viewport is smaller, but I think it's the same issue. It's just it's going to range over more space while it's trying to find the edges. So we'll try it this way and see what happens. There may be other ideas and other ways to do it. So I'm not totally convinced we're at the bottom of this issue, but I think this will do it. And what that does for me, it relieves me. I worry that we were trying to do these things. Let's go here. So we had hard coded this size, and then we had these little blips for 25 because half a cell we had visible and so on. I don't think we need to worry about that. As long as we have enough space in our sort of buffer cells, that we keep our main cell in the view, I think it's going to be okay. All right, now we extracted this so we could test it. And I think, well, that's going to be annoying. Okay. Wow, I'm getting messages now. I didn't see those yesterday. I was surprised. I hope it's a good sign. They're just little warnings, but still. All right, and I don't know why the editor is supposed to. There we go. Okay. If shouldn't wrap its conditionals in parentheses. Oh yeah, true. We're not in C anymore. So weird we had none of these complaints yesterday. All right. test passed right before the show. We'll run them again. Although this function isn't tested per se. But let's change that. So I think this function is actually a function of CG size and this constant. I don't think we need the 25s. Okay. Let's pass in that constant too. So this is the size. And it's presuming it's square. Oh, well, CG float would be better, wouldn't it? Okay. Now, it's called down there. Let's pass in 500, which I think is the real size. Okay, and then, well, I'm going to make it a little weird for a minute. This equals the visible size divided by 2. Okay. Now, all kinds of things are showing up now. Yeah, we'll deal with that one later. Okay. And I'll just run. This is kind of where we were yesterday. Okay, so I don't know. I saw a little glitch there just now. Yeah, saw it there again. It's skipping down through half a cell. The board grid size, yeah. I'm not sure which number we want there. And, ugh. Let me go back to my picture. I think I'm talking about the board size. Okay. Okay, and is that running? Okay, yeah, so it ran and it had a little bit of a glitchy thing in there. Boop. Yeah, okay. Let's see, can I pull this out? I kind of want to make this, well, I want to move this argument to the back, to the end. Because really this is kind of like wrap in our modulo operator kind of thing. But I think I'll call it I think this is like translate wrapped. Let's rename that. So it's kind of like translating from the offset to the by the translation, but it's doing more. And now I maybe should call that wrap or something like we did in the others. But okay, and let's move this. Well, I'm going to create a file for it. And he's going to be public now. Translate wrapped. Are these in Foundation? Yeah, I don't know if that's. I don't think we need to care because offset's willing to go in any direction. I mean, it's a CG size, which is width and height, and it's supposed to be a difference, or a measurement. Okay, so I don't know if I want to change this first or test it first. I guess I will test it first. All right, that can go here. Okay. Oh, we already have direction. Okay. Yeah. So I want to make this an extension. Yeah, I want to do this again. CG point extension. Okay, now initial offset, I'm going to say something dot translate wrapped, and I'll give it the translation and the wrapping. Okay, and so this let's take this out, and that's going to become self. Okay, and I don't think we reference it anymore. CG point has no member width. Oh, he's CG size, isn't he? No. Okay, so I think with that, then over here, I need to modify that translation. We move this to the end. And we'll get this wrapped in a constant. Let's just make sure it's sort of behaving the same. There's the jump on that last one. Okay. So I think that's together. Let's take that as kind of extract extension method for translate wrapped. Okay. So let's put a quick test in. a CG size. All right. Yeah. That's not it. I think it I think that's probably more accurate. Okay, so let wrapped by width 100, height 100, and then we'll wrap with 500. Okay, and then okay, this should be fine. I think regardless of what we're doing, if you offset by less than one thing worth, you're okay. Okay, so and let's do a dramatic one. Well, no, let's look at CG size. Oops, going backwards. Okay. And back to my picture and my rule. Okay, so if it's less than half the viewpoint size, I want it to get wrapped. Okay, and have viewport size added to it. Okay, so let's take one of those. Okay, so well, we can start the same. Oh, there's no assertion in there. How embarrassing. Okay. Let's give it two different numbers so we can make sure we get them right. We expect that result dot width should be equal to 100. And height should be equal to 200. Okay. And I'll just make sure that's okay. Offset less than 25, we gotta do 50 mix. Okay, two issues. Oh dear. Okay. Okay, so if you say add 100, 200 to 0, 0, you should get 100, 200. Okay, and we don't. Okay, so offset width, wait. I think I translated something. Let me compare these. I might have messed up something in the move there. Let me go back here. Oh, he doesn't have it in there. Content view. Infinite grid. Okay. Can I see the... Offset equals initial offset. Well, where's the translate? Oh, the translate's the offset. Here does the translation. Okay. I'm feeling off. So, offset. Drag info translation. Okay, I guess it didn't change anything, but the offset itself, why is translation? I'm being puzzled now. Sorry. I had assumed this thing was taking offset and adding translation, but that parameter is unused. Okay. So let's call this wrap instead. Let's take out translation because it's not involved. And now we're just back to this, and then infinite grid, called it. Offset.wrap, he does not need translation. Okay. Okay. Result equals sut dot. Wrap 500. Wrap 500. Okay. And now we're to our failures. Okay, let's. I don't know how that got there. I don't remember adding that parameter. All right. So width and height are not offset. Oh, okay. So yeah, I think the test needs to be CG size 100, 200. Okay, if you wrap that by 500, you're still in range. Okay. And that's wrong the way I think it should be now. Actually, that's... Wait a minute. Okay, so result with 100 became 150. Minus 150. That feels off. Okay. Well, we got source control for a reason, I guess. So I'm saying in this rule, if it's between these two values, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, I think we're doing it. Well, let me do it like this. If offset dot width is greater than or equal to times, I'm going to call this wrap. And this is minus 0.5. And it's less than 0.5 times wrap. So if it's in that range, then, well, and offset dot height is greater than or equal to minus 0.5 times wrap, and okay. So I'm sort of squeezing out the old one. Let's see what's happening. I'm hoping the first test passes. Kind of an awkward way to do it, but all right. Now let's get this test in. Wrapped adds a wrap to to negative of a value. Okay, so I want okay, so if I have, I'm going for minus 250. So if I have minus 251, and let's do the same thing here. And we wrap that, then, well, he should add 500 to it. So 250 plus minus 250 plus 500 is 250, but he's minus 1, so 249. Well, let's do it like this, and he should still be minus 250. Okay. Okay, what's he getting? He gets minus 1, and he gets wrapped. Ugh. Oh, should be height. Okay, thank you, yes. Okay, he gets -1. He stays. He came back with 200. Okay, so I think. Well, what I want to take the condition the other way around. So if offset dot width is less or equal to minus 0.5 times wrap, then I'm going to do something. So the width is too small. And well, this is really a while. While it's too small, we want to say offset dot width plus equals wrap. Okay. And so I think that takes this condition out. Because at that point, he will be greater than or equal to 0.5. So that's always going to be true. So that clause is gone. I don't know if I'm being, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I argue too much about it, but we return offset at the end, right? Okay. So I think that should make that one okay. And the same thing applies to height. And again, I think okay. And I think that takes care of this case, guaranteeing that'll always be true. Okay, so let's run this. Okay. So the height is minus 250. Oh, did I do greater or equal? Yeah. Or less than or equal. Okay, and now let me call this thing no. Okay, I'm going to say let boundary equals 0.5 times wrap, and this is minus boundary. And this is minus boundary. Now these again, I feel like they kind of deserve their own treatment because they're independent. All right, but okay, now let's flip it. Subtracts wrap from too big a value. Okay, so now this one, well, let's make it 251 and 250. Well, let's flip it. Okay, just to kind of prove we're doing both dimensions. All right, we wrap. Now I expect the height, the width to be 250. Now, you could probably that maybe should be like a half open interval. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think this should really be our in Swift terms. This should be dot dot less, because 250. If we had minus 250 and you added 500 to it, we get 250. That would be this one. They'd be the same, and so the range would be 1 pixel too big or one whatever too big. Okay, so while it's negative, okay. And then this one, the height 251, we should subtract 250. Sorry, we should subtract 500. 250 minus 1 is 250. Is that going to be 249 if I'm doing the math right? So 251 minus 500. Well, minus 250 is 1. Minus another 250 is minus 250 plus 1 is 249. Okay. And that should fail. Okay. His width of 0. So he's falling down into these other cases that we haven't done. So, okay. Fine. And fine. Okay. And I think it's more boundaries while offset dot width is greater than or equal to boundary and now I think that condition is true and we can just return it. So it's always true at this point, I believe. And this is just, well, I'll comment it for a moment, but it's excess now. Okay. And I think that should do this. Minus 250. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because he is greater than or equal to the boundary, so he should go back to the negative. And this one is minus 249. So 249 should be safe. And if we did 250, just to make sure we have a boundary case here, this should translate to minus 250. Okay. All right, but unfortunately, it's a little speculative compared to seeing it. But I think I've represented what my intended algorithm is. I believe I have. So, okay, so we don't want to see any half cell jumps or anything. And we can keep going if I can. Oh, what do we see there? Oh, no. Okay, what's going on? Now, something was weird there. Click on the S. What? Oh, let me make sure the context doesn't do anything funny to it. Offset equals draginfo.translation. Okay. And wrap. Now these are all doing that. This shouldn't do anything. I guess they don't. That might trigger in. Okay, if I do this, drag, and then bring it back exactly where I left it, it recentered it back to 0. Yeah, but I'm not sure here. Okay, that should not have happened. All right, I got to understand. Okay, I think this is not needed. I don't think we care about this 0 case. If they just drag it a little, it puts it back. And I'll just do this. I'll leave it empty for now. Okay, I think what I want to see though is let previous offset equal offset, and then let's print previous offset. Okay, so we'll see the effect of any wrapping. What's going on down here? I think I did one too far. No. Maybe one not far enough. Okay. Translation. I don't think I need translation now. I think I just have them. So we should be able to see before and after from the wrapping. Now, it's... Whoops. I guess there's some slim chance there's a control... a wrapping or a redraw issue that we're just running into, but... well, maybe that's it. Is it... I think it should be 500 though. So if it's, let me go back to my pictures. So this distance is 500, and yet this is kind of like from minus 250 to 250. So that's the coordinates I want. And if you're 0, 0, you're starting right in the middle and you're fine. So well, I can't argue we got to the edge of an outer grid, but okay. But let's see what happens on the run. I think 500 is right though, because if I only add 250, I'm only going half a board distance, right? Because it's 500, for a given board. Okay, so it has a little delay to drag. And then somewhere up here, we're going to see it. Yeah, that it doesn't kick in until it gets, well, that's 25. All right, but we have this. Okay. Oh, we have a lot of this. Okay, so there's no translation going on in the range 0 to minus 250, plus or minus 250. There shouldn't be any, and I don't see any. Okay, and then we're closing in on 250. $230. Did I not go far enough? Okay, there we go. So when it went so far negative, it was minus 250.5. It translated the offset back into the right range of minus 250 to plus 250. And so minus 250 would just be barely over the edge, so it'll be the bottom of the next block, and 249 is the bottom of the next block. So I think it's doing the right job there. Okay, now it keeps going, right? Yeah, minus 260. Okay, as I keep going, and these get bounded in. Okay, so 500 squares times 50. Oh. Well, that's an awfully good point. Okay, thank you. Yeah, we were doing 6 times 50 up there. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm dragging way up. Yeah, you're right. Okay, good eye. Okay, this feels a lot better than yesterday. It really gives the sense that it's just dragging it across this invisible distance. And no little glitches. Now there was something funny. Okay, something is a little weird still. If I click here, I don't know what my drag distance, minimum distance for. I don't know if that's too little. Something's weird. Okay, I'm going to click right in the middle of the O and drag to the bottom right. Oh, no, that's okay. Well, but the drag direction is, like in this case, I'm just dragging diagonally. Oh no, something happened again. Okay, I click on the U. Oh, maybe that's that drag distance thing. But I'm dragging diagonally. There's no direction per se. It's just the offsets, whatever the offset comes out. And in fact, if I'm dragging in one dimension only, the width here is going to be consistent. It's minus one half. I'm in that range. I'm jittering a little, but it's gonna be whatever it was. Now, no, something is still happening weird. I don't know if I can. Can I can't put blank lines in or anything. I guess I can highlight here. Okay. I'm going to try and grab the intersection of the P there. Yeah, see, I was on the P and I'm not. So something a little odd happened. Nine and a half, 3 to 12, 3.5. I don't know if I can tell from this. Yeah, I think the old implementation, because we were physically moving a column, we had to know which row or column to move. So that one did need to know the direction. But something's funny. I don't know if it's this drag distance stuff. Okay. I think, well, yeah, so I mean, let's make it 24, and I think that'll be very visible. But we have to have some drag distance, I think. Otherwise, how would it know a press from a drag? Okay, I'm right on the F, and it keeps it on the F. Right on the C. Yeah, and I don't even know where the C is. Okay, it jumped way away. 26, and then that. Well, that seems more than 24. 18. I just don't know. Okay, make sure I'm in this app. So T, I got to drag, and then it's like it's jumped more than. Yeah, I think that's what I'm seeing. So I'm going to start in the middle of the H, and I have to drag 24 is most of the way through this cell, right? And then when I get here, that's how I want it to be. I don't think we do here. Well, this kind of is, but I mean, the offset is that's really it's almost independent, right? It's dealt with here as the offset, but we're not referencing any other percent stuff. Okay, we'll try again. So that one worked before. I'm dragging and did not work. Okay, I'll try coming in again on a T. Yeah, it's something about that minimum distance, because it's even worse now than it was. All right, let's change it back. Let's put it down to 2. But I don't know. It seems like it's working sometimes and not other times. That seems very odd. Okay. Yeah, see, that's keeping on the I that I had grabbed. And that did not. I don't think I'm releasing anything. I mean, I think I'm holding it pretty good. Yeah, now it's going to work. And now it doesn't. Okay, that was going left. No? Yeah, that's what I can't figure. It's jumping like 3 cells worth. I mean, I was on that light blue T, and here I am here. And yet sometimes I grab it and it's just right. I don't think, well, that's a good question, is it? I don't think it should be. No, I don't think so. Let me drag up. I should be getting very negative on my original position now. Yeah, see, he's at minus 429, and I think maybe not. How would that reset? Oh, because we... Okay, I think you're right. I think it's me resetting it here. But when you grab it again, well, why would it be back to 0? Okay, so I'm interpreting translation wrong, maybe. The B jumps to the original position every time. Right. So I think maybe, well, offset is getting wrapped. I think maybe I'm not doing a translation and I need to. I don't know. I mean, I think translation is from where you clicked to, I think it's from the original click to wherever you dragged to. But offset. Okay, we're going to keep learning here. Let's check this in because I think it's doing what I intended on the on this computation thing, but it may not be what's right. All right, so apply a different approach to wrapping coordinates for scrolling. Okay, and I think it would be good to clean this up just a hair before we get back into it. Come on. All right. Okay, so I'm going to take out this stuff because we don't need anything at the end. We're just there. And maybe that's the trouble. Maybe this comes out. Okay. And then I think we'll keep this previous offset for now. That's okay. These, okay, let's delete this. Okay. That shouldn't have broken anything. Huh. This is very unexpected to me. So that tells me we are not appending to offset. Maybe I'm just grabbing. Let's run it. I think it's okay. So 0, 0 is fine. Yeah, so I think that was a little awkward. Yeah, something's funny. I don't know why it's so inconsistent. All right, but I'm going to do this one too now. Well, let's make a little helper function. File private function. This is wrap of value of CG float with a wrap of CG float yields a CG float. Okay, so I want to do this. Okay, so we got the boundary is half the wrap, while value is less than boundary. Value plus equals wrap. Your parameters can't be variables, so. Okay, so I think that should be the equivalent computation to offset dot width equals wrap of offset dot width and wrap. And I guess I want non-function type CG float. Cannot call value of non-function type maybe offset is he's just a double. Okay. Wrap of CG float. Oh, maybe it just feels overloaded. Yeah, I think wrap. Yeah, it could be colliding. Too many wraps kicking around here. Okay, and I think that should be all of this. Okay, let's make sure our test pass, and then we'll see if we need to make this be a float. Oh, did I lose my graders? And oh, I did them in a weird order, I guess. If it's less than boundary, add to it. If it's greater than or equal, subtract from it. Okay. Whoops. Can't tell if it's actually going to test. I don't know, hit profile or something. I think I must have. Oh. Conveniently puts it on a different window. Okay, I'll try tests this time. Okay. -400. Okay, that was bad. Let's see what we got. It feels like it's freezing up. Nope. Oh man. Sorry, that wasn't what I wanted. Well, I think I did both the widths and then both the heights and then tried to extract it and didn't realize I had that conflict and kind of blindly messed it up. So I will revert that if I checked it in, but I'm not sure if I did. Okay, let me close this. It doesn't like looking at that. Oh, Xcode, come on. Oh, goodness. Well, let me just do git diff. At least I can answer the question, maybe. Okay. Yeah, I think we at least had it commented. Okay. What do you think of Xcode? Oh, man. well, all the tests worked when we started that set of changes. So, all right, that seems fine. Can I edit this? Okay, save that. Okay, good. Yeah, I can revert this. Okay, so I have width less than boundary. So I'm going to move the widths together. And then this wrap, I don't think needs to be a CG float. I think it can just be a double. And make sure tests are good. Probably should have done that first. Okay, and I think I'll trust myself to delete this comment. And we'll try again on that extract. Okay, so I'm trying to take this. It won't let me extract it as a method. Okay. Okay, so we'll get a value of double and a wrap of double. We're returning a double. Okay, now this should be value. Cannot be applied to the operand of type double. And well, let's get value in here throughout. Oh no, let's do something else. Let's make a variable. I hope that's better. All right, now I'm going to say offset dot width equals wrap double of offset dot width with wrap. And that should replace these 6 lines. Okay, and test should still pass. Okay. And I'll do the same thing for height. Okay. Oh, huh. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, CG float is the old core graphic value, but I think there may have been more distinction before, but I think they kind of redefined things so that it can convert between them quite a bit. Maybe not everywhere. Okay, now let me look at this. So this basically ensures that a value is centered between negative half the value and positive, up to but not including positive half the value. And you wrap a CG size by making sure its width and height are both ranged. It could even be the same, yeah. It may have been different at one point, but maybe isn't now. I'm not sure. You would think CG float would map up to float, but who knows? Legacy. I mean, next step and all that stuff, right? That's 1990s, somewhere in their era, so it's pushing 30 years old. Okay, now we're using that here, and yeah, I believe this is off, because offset should not start at 0, 0. Okay, yeah, okay, that makes what you were saying make sense. If it's if the translation should start, oh yeah, could be. All right, so half should be 3.5 each way. This should kind of work, yeah. And this should kind of work. Whoa, that did not kind of work. Oh, but I've already messed it up. Okay, yeah. So I think because I'm not adding. I think what's happening is this translation. Well, let's go look it up. But I think it's subtracting the final value from the start value. Yeah, location XY minus start location. And so it's giving us sort of the zero-based distance of the drag, but it doesn't tell us. It tells us how far it moved, but it doesn't tell us where it was. And that should be relative to the offset that we have from before. Okay, so this is more in this level. Is there... Let's take offset dot... Is there translate? Come on, please. CG size has no member translate. Okay, well, let's go look at CG size. I had it up earlier today and closed it when I got ready here. Really, there's no translate. How bizarre. I'm pulling affine transformation, not doing that. Okay. I think what I should say is offset equals offset dot width plus equals drag info dot translation dot width offset dot height plus equals drag info dot translation dot height. And then offset equals offset dot wrap. Okay. Now this should not be here. Okay, so I'm saying now let's start our offset from where we are, not just the zero-centered translation. Now that also makes me think there's some is there some other thing in drag info that is actually what we want? Drag info dot translation location. I don't think it's location. Okay, let's see how this runs. Gosh, that feels like a mistake I made a long time ago. All right, so I'm going to try and drag from the center. Something's weird. I'm dragging down. No, this is not right. What if we just do this? So it's accumulating as I drag, and so that can't be right. Cannot appoint CG's point to CG size. Right. Okay, what's going on? Well, I'm fairly convinced that we're wrapping correctly. If I add this back in to 40 to 250, yeah. And he's bigger than 125, so he has to be translated back. So maybe previous offset is not quite as useful. All right. Okay, so I'm trying to drag from 0. Notice he's dragging further than I am. Okay. Okay, so I'm adding minus 2.5. I'm getting bigger and bigger the further it goes. So something's not right. I want it to be... Do I need to track original offset? Is that... Or... Add the translation in on end. Well, but we need it... We need to do... Sorry, we need to update offset. As we go, because this here is what makes it actually drag, because it's saying keep track of the offset, and as it changes, move our view. And so, but I think the thing is that we're getting the translation from the original value, so we should be up by minus or down by -1 at -3 here, but we're at 4.5 plus 3 is 7.5. So it's getting bigger and bigger the further we go. So, but because it's wrapped circularly, it's not quite as obvious. So, I mean, we could capture... It seems like we need 3 pieces of information to get what we want, because we got the original offset, and that should be updating. But I think we need to keep the translation, the difference from the previous translation. Maybe that's the thing that on ended has to reset. Okay, let me try it that way. I don't think I see a good way to TDD this. Okay, let's do that. So at state... Yeah. Well, maybe that means I need to keep this is more like the running offset and then the committed offset or something. I mean, it doesn't offend me that at end we have to do some tweaking or something, I mean, this should be... Well, no, something's funny. Because if I just do the translation here, it needs to go against the original offset. That's why it was getting funny, was it would reset the offset. I'm sorry, the translation gets reset at the beginning of each down press. I don't know if there's no one started, but that would be a good question. No. Okay. So I think the previous translation... Okay, so I think I want to do... minus the previous. Put this back. Okay, and then I want to say previous translation equals drag info.translation. And then wrap the result. And then on ended, this does feel like I'm thinking too hard. Can you set offset to previous offset plus translation? Well, yeah, so if we try to do a previous offset thing, maybe that can be. And then we never update previous till the end. But we don't know, we don't have if we don't have an on start though, I don't know how to. Can we make that go? Let me try this way, and then we'll see if we can change it to based on previous offset, which sounds more sensible to me. Okay, that seems to be going as far as it should go. He feels under control, and I'll leave him over here W. Now if I grab this and just go a little, yep. Now I'm going to grab in the corner. Okay, this feels good. It's wherever I'm clicking on the cell. There might be a little delay because of that drag distance, but he follows me at that point. It's a little slow. I mean, I can see visual glitches, but I suspect that's just the simulator. Okay, so I think this has done it. Can we get indeterminate out of this? Oh, did I just see something weird? No, that's good. Yeah, the letter I'm grabbing seems to be the one that's following me, so that feels right. Before it would jump over a little bit like that, and I'd still be dragging back here. So, okay. I think it works okay. And we are getting the differences between these translations, which seems okay. Let's think about the previous offset for a moment. So I guess at this point I would say offset equals something. I mean, so we're saying the offset for drawing should be the previous offset plus the translation. Well, I think that would work too. Okay, let's check this in, take a break, and we'll try it the other way and see which way you like. Make sure we only move by difference between translations. Probably a better way to say that. Okay, so yeah, back in 3 or 4 minutes, and see you then. All right, welcome back. So let's try this the other way. So I think this will be like prior offset, started at 0. We'll take this out. Okay, so now offset.width should equal prior offset.width plus drag info.width, and the height should equal prior offset.height plus that height. And then now prior offset doesn't change. We don't need to keep track of this anymore. We still have to wrap. And then in here, we're going to say prior offset equals offset. Does that sound right? Okay, so when you start, they start out equal. When we get translation, we always add it to prior offset, and that gives us current offset, which is where we've dragged to. And then when we commit, we say, okay, the new prior offset should be offset. I think that's sensible. So grab here. Yeah. Okay, I'll leave it up here. It doesn't jump back or anything, so I think if we leave this out, I'll just run it that way for a moment. It'll jump back or jump somewhere. So move this down. Yeah, it's just jumping around randomly. Yes, I started it off at 0. So I think they should both be 0 at the start, and we only update prior offset, which this equation kind of makes the best sense to me, that the prior offset plus the translation, which is at the prior offset, is the new the width there. Okay, and well, let me try it a little more, but I think to me, I think I agree with your kind of previous feeling that might be a little more acceptable. And let me take this out, and let's just get it as good as we can get it. Now this, to me, well, also that's kind of where we were starting today when I thought I had the translation to do, that we would add the offset plus the translation to get the offset. But I think given that the translation keeps increasing, that this is actually the right way to do it. Okay. So I'll run this. All right, now I'm just grabbing the N. Okay, and they're not jumping or anything, and it feels nice and smooth. It just seems like the right thing. It's a little slow on that first. And I think that's because I can drag that minimum distance faster than it can respond. But when it catches up, it has it right under the cursor where I clicked. So make sure that's true. Yeah, it feels like it's right under there. So I think we've done it. This is good. All right. Drag gesture 2. Maybe I'll put this back to 4. Just get the feeling for it. And then at some point we need to get these constants dependent on the stuff we're working on. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a tap. That's a drag. Yeah, that's a win. All right. And how's this looking? Okay, I'm glad we did those tests, and I'm glad we pulled it out enough to do those tests. Okay, so make offset be prior offset plus translation as we drag. Reset prior offset when we stop. Now that okay, let's get this updated. Fixed scrolling so we have the effect of an infinite grid. Yes, we've done that. I think it's very nice. It just has a good feeling as you drag it around and stuff. So that's cool. We don't have rotation. Okay. This stuff, drag ended update location, move during on change, how many cells. We've kind of changed this around totally. Debounce, change the scrolling. Do we need directions? I think the answer is no, we don't need directions per se, which is interesting as well. And actually, I think the way we're doing this now, well, okay, these all come out. But I think the other difference, well, no, I was going to say offset could get, I was thinking translation was going to keep going as I kept dragging and start redrag and redrag, that it would just get bigger and bigger. But we do wrap while we're going, so it never gets out of bounds. Okay, so that's a good point to get to. I think let's look at this constant that's going in. Also, I think this it still bugs me that we're creating the multiple copies of that, and I wonder, be less sensitive to the shape of the letters. Yes, definitely. That's definitely on my mind as well. Okay, so this two bad things here, right? This 50 is just kind of arbitrary from somewhere, just like this is. And where's that count is here, right? Is we draw it, yeah. Now that I think that could be a constant somewhere, and maybe even content view. Yeah, I think maybe a public static cell size equals 50, and let's get these. Yes, or let's make this content view dot cell size. Okay. And what's your complaint? Some view has... Wait a minute. Now, this is this weird stuff that... Come on. Can I do this? No. Why does changing that from a literal mess up the type of the view? Boom. Okay. Can I make my own constant here? Or is it saying I can't even do that? I know I've hit this before and I still don't understand it. Why referencing a constant here makes this change shape from shape to some shape. Like, okay. Well, can we go the other way? Now this 300 is 6 times 50. And actually, I'd kind of be happier with 5.5 times 50. I mean, can we get... Well, let's at least break it out like this. I may sit on this for a while. Why it wants all these hard-coded? Can always pass in the cell size. I guess. Would that work? Let's see. Where's grid view? Oops. Well, that actually kind of would fit better here. I don't know if he's int. Where's the complaining? Oh, we're back to that. Now, isn't that just the most annoying thing? What does this want? Does he want a double? Maybe I can make that constant a double and avoid some. I know, it's just weird. Yet this seems to be okay. And what was it? Well, it was just changing that letter size. Okay, well, if it can come in there, it can come in further up, right? Okay, so let's define it up here. Maybe that's cell size since we're up at the grid level.
Same thing here. Now, this. Well, this is really game.size. Can I get it from there? Game.size. Will you do the cast for me, or are you going to make me do it? Ugh. And then infinite grid needs. Okay, he's top level, so I think we can trust him. Well, he should probably have a constant too. Text. I think that's an independent number. Okay. Oh. That's sort of related to it. Okay. Let's run that. The 6, I don't think it's from the 5 and 6 from the game size. Oh, no, it's too small. I messed up something. That's the guesses. That's independent, but oh yeah, you're right. Where was that? Was it in here? No. Grid view. These two, right, were +1. Okay, yeah. I wonder if well, I'm going to try it this way and then I'll try it the other way. It might be better to show more. In some sense, ugh. I mean, maybe in the medium term, this should be based on the width of the phone. And I mean, I think 50 is a reasonable touching distance. Okay, yeah, this is. I like this that you don't see the same one twice. It's just barely there. Let me put it back to the original. Yeah, close enough. Yes, yeah, you just barely notice the wrapping going on. That's better to me in a suggestive sense. But I do think it might look better on the grid size if we just took the width of the phone and made that the square size, which means going to the geometry reader or whatever that thing is that fetches the sizes. I think we should probably do that. But I also think we don't have the overall look and everything quite right yet. So I think we'll just keep that in our pocket. If we do that, then you're gonna have cells. You are going to have the same cell twice, maybe. Yeah, you'll see it at least twice. You could even see it 3 times on a grid. I don't know if I get it in a corner here. Yeah, I can see it 4 times like that, which is part of the way this thing works, but it's perhaps unexpected. But yeah, so I think that's in our future. I think a game will look better the more space you have. And if we go to, say, a 10 by 10 board where it doesn't quite fit, then that's suggestive too. All right, now before I leave this part, let's at least change this constant once and make sure that things seem to hang together right. We may have used a 40 or 50 without noticing it somewhere, and should be littler. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if that's a word. Maybe it means ghosts. Okay, but that's good. All right. It means we did kind of abstract that out a little bit. All right. So, pass cell size throughout. Good. And I think that finishes the grid for now anyway. Let's go on. Okay, so I think now we're kind of at we're at a fresh start on the rest of the stuff going on. Okay, so I think running count, don't generate the full list until later. Right now we don't do anything with that full list. That may be something around end game and new game. I kind of think. I don't think we need the demo mode as much. I think the fact that you see something not fully contained, not exactly contained in the grid, suggests there's more stuff around the edges. So I think we can drop this. Rotation, what I would like is if you click rotate, like you could maybe a little button that says rotate left and one that indicates rotating right. I would like this to become the column PSG coming down here, PSGMOP, and so on. So get a 90-degree rotation in there. The scrolling already makes it already handles that wraparound effect. That you're kind of, that's the same. It's a little weird to have them twice. Yeah, I don't know what it requires. Like there may be some way to kind of take the view of it and treat it as rotated without having to actually rotate anything. I think I would prefer that if we can. It's sort of this layered approach on it, but it's certainly a valid thing to see, because I think, if you flip this, mops will show up much easier. If you rotated it left once, you'd see mops
going down instantly, where here you have to kind of read backwards. And so I think being able to rotate left or right would be a cool little thing. And also in this notion of betwist is kind of twisting around things. So it's a good idea, I think. Okay, and like in a real life boggle board, with the dice, you get some letters upside down and all that. That's kind of annoying. It'd be nice to have them right side up. And if you're playing with other people, if you flip it right side up for you, it's backwards for them. Okay, warn on duplicate words, takes click from rotation and translate. Yeah, I think that would be possible. Okay, so as I've done this, I'm not liking the duplicate word handling. So the way we do it now, we let you. I don't see gas. Oh, there it is. Okay, we let you enter the same word twice. So I'm going to enter gassed, and it just pulls it up to the top. Okay, and it doesn't really say, "Hey, you had a duplicate." So I feel like it should just say duplicate word. We started down that path, and I thought, let's just pull them to the top, and that'll be fine. But I think maybe it should just say duplicate word and leave it where it is. All right, so that's the idea there. That's a fairly small one. Sort the answers. Actually, I want like by length. Mark prefix words. So this would get into making our guesses display much more interesting. Running counter score. I could see a whole little blob of stuff that's like, how many total letters have you put in words? How many words? What's your longest word? All those would be kind of a score type things. This should be able to be variable. I'd like to have sounds. So like when you're dragging, I could almost see, have you ever heard, what do they call those? Shepherd tones? Let's see. I don't know if you can hear my system. Can I get an audio file for it? Wikipedia? So a shepherd tone sounds like it's always going up, and it's yet it doesn't. Okay, let's do this. Are you gonna play it for me? Well, I'm not hearing anything. Let's try this one. Is it just loading it? And the way it works is it plays multiple tones at the same time, but it makes one louder as the higher one gets out. As it gets higher, it fades out. As the lower ones come in, they get louder. However, all right, let's see if we can find somebody else with one. YouTube. But at any rate, I think having that go as you're dragging around would be nice. A different sound for a successful word and an unsuccessful word. Maybe you should get some ta-ta-ta. If you do a long word that gets 3 or 4 words, subwords in it, maybe you should go ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-bung, or something. We're going to get there eventually here. It seems like my internet's being slow. I hope I'm not coming off too nasty. It definitely doesn't like doing video while I'm broadcasting video. It just gets too bogged down somewhere on that.
Uh, well, we'll let that think about it for a minute. Animation. I don't know if we need anything there. I'm not going to worry about this. That's kind of not the way we do things. Although I think there was a real bug in there. Hexagonal grids, tessellations. That could be interesting. Faster prefix with this try implementation would be interesting. I don't know if I may have done one like years ago in C for something. But I'm not even sure on that. I mean, I was going back to school for a library information retrieval, basically, and search algorithms, stuff like that. We definitely played with. Okay, so one thing. I mean, I think we're at the point. Oh yeah, maybe we can do something. It's still thinking. I think I'm to the point to say, like, let's get the view, this view. I don't know that this is the right thing, but I'd like to get this view looking better. Okay, hey, maybe we'll get this. Well, maybe eventually. These two things kind of come into that. Maybe the score would be interesting. Maybe that would be the best thing. I want to push towards, like, let's get this shippable. Okay, are we going to do it? No, he's still loading. Okay, so something for the score would be good. The answers, that's all good. Duplicate words, generate the full list. New game has got to be pretty high up there. This parameters and tessellations kind of goes together. I don't think triangles is going to work. Well, that's an example of a tessellation. We won't. Unbounded. Well, I don't think I want to do an infinite board. Okay. Okay, so that's not a sound you get everywhere. Okay. But something cool would be fun for that. All right. Sound, rotation. Yeah, I mean, all these things seem to me like they would be good to do before we call it done. But yeah, let's start with the board. Yeah, well, I'm a dulcimer player too, so. Now that tone can go up or down too, so it might be nice. There might be a nice way to make that depend. Okay, let's look at a score kind of thing. So this would be on the board, and I'm thinking, I don't know. I don't quite understand why we have so much space here. If we submit, there's a message there, but there's nothing here. And I don't see why. Okay, so we have an H stack. Oh, max height. Maybe it's going off that. No, 128. Right. Height of 40. So we know the height of this thing is dominated by the 128 that the icon has. So that's the H stack. That's guest view. And then in the main thing, we have guest view stacked right away with text. And there's nothing in here to say put space in between. So I don't know. and there's a spacer on the bottom, and that should take up all the space and drive these other ones up towards the top. But I don't know why. So I'm going to not worry about it. I guess it does not get us a score. Okay, so I'm thinking like a little area over here that says score, 7 words, 87 letters. Longest word is over here. Longest 7 letters or something like that. That would be three interesting score things. So let's start on that. I think that is, well, let's start with the view this time. We've started elsewhere on some occasions, but let's put in a score. Well, I think this is, let's put an H stack. And we'll have to give him the game. Okay, and we'll make a new one. New. Let me take this out for the moment. All right, if we run, we should see a hello world in there. Our answers said they should get 300 pixels, so it pushed this thing out. Okay, let's go find answers. Somewhere I saw that. Yeah, let's make it narrower. Okay, and I want this to say, well, I want this centered. Oh, I need to put this in a V stack. Now, this sometimes works. I don't know why. Like so many things in Xcode. Okay, that's a little underwhelming to me. The font weights and stuff. And I want them less justified. Well, I don't know if this is worth doing it this way. Okay, so let's make this. Oh, thank you. I know there must be a better way. I think I can do this. Well, I think that's a start. Okay, so we're going to get these answers, right? We're going to have to ask the game, I guess. Yeah. How about most letters? And I'm sort of envisioning the longest word being over here somewhere, if it fits. And then maybe this doesn't need to be centered. Yeah, I think that's all right. It's kind of increasing size. I think that's a little nice. Okay. Game. Well, no, let's add this. Minimal score view. No real data yet. And we could turn it off if we needed to, but it's just us chickens, as they say. All right, so game. Oops, that's how to say. And he's really going to ask the, what do we call that collection? Messages? Guesses. Okay. But I think this is almost like, it's kind of a view model sort of thing. It's sort of a central thing that knows how to coordinate all the objects together and do the stuff. It goes a little beyond. It's got a little bit of functionality, but not a lot. All right. So I guess the three things you're going to ask are those three functions. Words, I guess, word count. I'm thinking separate values. But struct is kind of like a class. So structs structs don't have inheritance, and they're immutable by default, and they have sort of a weird variant of being both mutable and immutable, but they're value objects. But they have fields, and if you change the word class to struct, much of it would be the same. So it's sort of similar. All right, and then most letters. Okay, I'll give it 8, just so we can see. All right, and this becomes all right. So this doesn't really change the view too much. It just puts it over onto the more object model side rather than the view side. Okay, I did change one value. All right. Yeah, I think that's a start. Okay, we'll say we put in stubs. Okay, and then game tests. A game. Well, let's do one with a few words. This. Okay, and so I would say game dot word count should be 2. We'll do them all. Letter count should be 7. And the longest word should be 4. Okay, this test should fail. All right, and it gives us a good place to stop. Once in a while we stop with a red test, so we'll know exactly where to start tomorrow. All right, tomorrow's Thursday, so we'll be here 2 to 4:30 Eastern Time or 6 to 8:30 p.m. UTC, and we will get scoring going tomorrow. It sounds pretty straightforward. Thanks for joining Mudshark666 in particular on the help with the scrolling, and Catmo Dev, welcome back. All right, thanks. Have a good night. Bye-bye.